Welcome to my channel about physiotechnique, robotics and embedded systems. If you're new to this channel or haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe via the thumbnail in the bottom right corner. As you can see, the topic of this video is the Raspberry Pi 2 Model B+, and while it runs Linux, I'm going to try to program it using C# or Mono as it is called in open source. Using that, I want to try to control the GPIO again for electronics and maybe physiotechnique and whatever. This is a recent development for me. So recently I made another video for the Raspberry Pi 1 B+, and I'm going to try if the installation and functionality of C# on the Raspberry Pi 2 is different or not. And to test all that, I'm going to change into screencast. Okay, screencast, and here you can see the band cable which leads to the breadboard, which I won't need for now. This is obviously the VNC environment on the Raspberry Pi. This is the SSH secure shell to the Raspberry Pi. This is the Minicom connection serial interface, which so this is SSH connection and this is the Minicom connection serial RS232. Why using them? Well, I did some preparation and I had to install the Mono complete setup. Before doing that, I needed to know, do I have enough space on the little SD card which is right here. Well, this is before installing, this is after installing. So yes, you can say that I have plenty of space. Now, if you have seen the video of the Raspberry Pi 1, which I released 4 days ago, was it 4 days ago? Not even sure anymore. But that put me with the fact that the software is or may not be entirely working. So, first thing, can I start everything? This is all Mono, which is the open source version of C#, and by the looks of it, I have here the same problem, which is that I cannot start the development environment, which I can obviously on my laptop, which is right here. So that said, I need to make a decision about how to get my development from the laptop to here, if I do. And I think I'm going to do it, or try to do it, using network. I have a central file server, so if I put anything on the file server on executable, I may be able to execute it here. So let's try that. Alright, now I have succeeded in making a network connection from the no, not here network connection from the Raspberry Pi to the file server. So basically that means if I go to my own home directory, I can say here and then to software and to that should be possible. Can't access. then I have to change something into the rights of that directory, because I know it is there. Because of this. Oh, I spelled it wrong. See, that is but yeah, okay, so there's no rights issue. That was a clear capitals issue, and these are things from earlier experiments. Anyway, and this is, by the way, the same. This means that I can now go here, and you can already see that I've put the location where I'm going to make my own files, my executable, so I can run it on Raspberry Pi. I just have to create something. And yes, I've prepared this in advance. So, and it automatically starts with this, hello world. Let me just add, this is C#, meaning mono on Raspberry Pi 2. This should run, make an executable, cannot execute. I expected that kind of, but it is now on the server, so what I should do now is go here, so Raspberry Pi 2, is there something here? And binary, debug, and here's an exe. So what I have to do now is actually do it like this. No, back right here, and say okay, there is the exe file, which is exactly what I typed in to print on screen. Which is obviously a lot faster now than either copying it with secure copy or putting it on a USB stick or whichever. It is now central, and I can develop it on one thing and execute it on the other, which is nice. Other options are of course there as well, for instance graphical stuff, but let's now first focus on GPIO. Another thing is that you may recall that I used for the Raspberry Pi 2 also Python and C++. There's no need to explain that Python and C++ are distinct languages for programming, but C++ is very distinct from C# as well. They're totally different languages. C# is developed by Microsoft and released for open source, while C++ is developed by Bjorn Stroustrup, I think somewhere in the 1970s or 80s. Totally different background, totally different setup. And if you want a language that is more or less comparable with C#, you should look into Java, which is originated by Sun, if I'm completely correct. Anyway, this is another attempt to get Mono Develop to the foreground, but if I look here, I see here Monodoc, which is the documentation in HTTP format for Mono. And when I tried this looking for anything about C# on the Raspberry Pi 1, there was nothing. So Whether this is an advancement or not, I don't know, but this is the situation. Also, if you look at this, this is a console write line command, and if I would do a graphical thing, and I should have done something entirely different. Anyway, how to proceed? That's a nice. That's another one. One last thing is that I have here the error that I cannot start the process because a file name has not been provided. What I did notice was that here was it's called simply program, which I found here and could change, but that didn't prevent from this error. So while now the name is indeed after the package, that's about it. Let's do it one more time. It's simply functional, but I need to remind that the executable is on the file server and not on the Raspberry Pi. So if I don't make this file connection to the server, it simply won't work because it can't find the executable. And yes, this is obviously a Windows executable, which originates from the fact that it is Windows originated. And that is for the first successful installation of Mono on Raspberry Pi 2 with a successful execution as well. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please do subscribe to my channel and give the video a thumbs up. Leave a comment or suggestion, much appreciated. You can also follow me via Twitter and Instagram. Please do support by donating via PayPal or by becoming a patron, which is already possible from €2. This is obviously going to be continued. So for now, stay safe, take care, have a great day, bye.